you're a writer, then when you die, you leave behind books, essays, plays, things for people to read and enjoy after you're gone. If you're a musician, then you leave behind music, things people can listen to or play for themselves and reinterpret after you've left. If you're a filmmaker, then you leave behind work people can enjoy again and again and share with their friends after you're no longer here. But what if you're someone like me, a variety performer? What does someone like me leave? This is something that I've thought about, and I think I have the answer. Shtick! Bits of business, rhubarb, beats, patter, gags, spiel, bits. Stuff handed down through generation upon generation of schmucks with a spotlight tan and a strong 10. The atoms of the vaudevillian are made of shtick. Rarely written down or formalised, but kept in the safest place of all, their act. For example, I do this pretty much whenever I take my jacket off, but do it in front of any self-respecting variety artist and they will point and say, George. Because this belongs to the great clown George Carl. He made a 70-year career out of stuff like this and nobody did it better. And sure, you can do it too, but it belongs to George. There are a million bits of business that have passed through the hands of performer after performer, stretching around the world and going back hundreds of years, kept alive by being performed. And that's exactly as it should be. Like Kirby Ferguson says, creativity is remix. Ideas are not born from the dark, mysterious recesses of our mind. They're made by mixing together elements of everything we've ever seen or heard or tasted or experienced. All art, all creation, all everything is built on the work of others. I see it as absolutely my job to find some long-forgotten trick or prop or idea and give it a new home. To take it, blow the dust off it, polish it up so it shines, give it a little twist and embellishment so it looks like something new, something personal, and then show it to people, and then hand it on to the next person down the line and see what they do with it. I think it might be part of your duty as an artist to do that, to develop your art form, to take something and infuse it with all the stuff that makes you unique, your humanity, and by doing so, you make something original, something personal, something new. And if the idea of doing that doesn't excite you, well then you might as well just give the clarinet to a kid who's going to use it. But there's something else going on here, something more. So I'm a solo act, and pandemic notwithstanding, I spend my professional life bouncing around the world. It's a charmed way to make a living and I'm nothing but grateful for it. But if I'm honest, it can sometimes be a little bit lonely. So here's how what we've been talking about helps with that. Let me tell you about cigar boxes. If you've seen me work, then you've probably seen me work with cigar boxes, so you know what I do with them. But here's how they got to me. They started being used by jugglers back in the heyday of vaudeville. Now, tricks with bricks and blocks were already quite popular in Japan, but I think cigar boxes got big in the States because of their ubiquity. A juggler could roll into the town where they'd be performing for the week, pay a visit to the local cigar shop, walk out with a bunch of old empty boxes and have props for their act for the week, which, when you're living out of a suitcase travelling across the country, is a big deal. Here's Lou Hoffman using them in around about the 1930s. And then, of course, the great W.C. Fields from his movie The Old-Fashioned Way. Of course, Fields was a renowned vaudeville juggler for many years before becoming an even more famous film star. This is a guy called Stetson, and that is a sharper suit than most of mine. Here's Rebler from 1938 cultivating a bad back in style. And now we have Chris and Bella Cremo, father and son, side by side. And then Chris went solo and became one of the true greats and one of my heroes, and he's still working to packed houses today. And finally we have the American juggling troupe Air Jazz on the Paul Daniels Magic Show in the 80s, which is when I first saw cigar boxes. And now here's me at this end of the timeline. Like I said, being a solo act can be lonely, but here's what you need to know. When you see me on stage, it might look like I'm all on my own, but I'm really not. When I walk out, all those people you just saw, and dozens more, they come with me. Vaudeville ghosts, keeping an eye on me, make sure that I'm doing right by them. Making sure that I'm not just taking, but developing. Always pushing things forward a little bit to see where they might go, because that's where the fun is. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, then please do subscribe to this YouTube channel and consider supporting my work on Patreon. And if you're not doing so already, then please do follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'll see you next time.